Have you ever wondered what it means to sell your soul? Is it merely a metaphor, or does it hold a deeper significance? These questions lead us into a realm that's as fascinating as it is enigmatic. The phrase selling one's soul is one that's been with us for centuries, yet its interpretation has evolved and continues to do so. It's a concept that's been explored in literature, music, and film, often tied to a Faustian bargain, a deal with the devil for worldly gain. But what does it truly mean to sell one's soul? Is it a literal transaction, a symbolic one, or perhaps something else entirely? The intrigue and mystery surrounding this concept are what make it a worthy topic of exploration. So let's embark on this intellectual journey together, peeling back the layers of cultural, historical, and philosophical context. Join us as we uncover the layers of this complex concept and explore its historical roots. The idea of selling one's soul is not a new concept. In fact, it has deep roots in our history and culture. This intriguing idea has been woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness, popping up in tales and narratives across centuries and continents. Let's start our journey in ancient times. The concept of selling one's soul can be traced back to various ancient cultures, where it was often associated with making a pact with a deity or a supernatural being. In Mesopotamia, for instance, individuals would make deals with gods or demons, offering their souls in exchange for power, wealth, or knowledge. Moving forward in history, we find the concept taking shape in the Middle Ages within the Christian context. The most famous example is undoubtedly the legend of Faust, a scholar who, driven by dissatisfaction and a thirst for limitless knowledge, makes a pact with the devil, Mephistopheles. In return for his soul, Faust receives worldly pleasures and unrivaled intellect. This tale, popularized by Christopher Marlowe and later by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, has left an indelible mark on Western literature and thought. Further east, in Chinese folklore, we encounter a similar story in the tale of Wei Gu, who sells his soul to the king of hell for 70 more years of life to spend with his beloved wife. In this narrative, as in many others, the notion of trading one's soul is tied to the pursuit of earthly desires and the evasion of life's impermanence. In African and Caribbean cultures, we find the concept in the lore surrounding crossroads rituals, where individuals would allegedly bargain with spirits or deities at a crossroads, trading their souls for skills, knowledge, or other benefits. This concept was later adopted into American blues culture, giving rise to tales of musicians like Robert Johnson, who supposedly sold their souls at the crossroads for extraordinary musical talent. Fast forward to the Enlightenment period, the idea resurfaced in literature, notably in the works of authors like Thomas Mann, with his novel Dr. Faustus, and Mary Shelley, who explored the concept in Frankenstein. These narratives often served as cautionary tales about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the pursuit of knowledge or power at any cost. In more recent times, the concept has continued to permeate popular culture, appearing in films, television shows, and music. It's often used metaphorically to critique the sacrifices made in the pursuit of fame, wealth, or power, and to question the moral and ethical implications of such trade-offs. As we can see, the idea of trading one's soul for worldly gains has permeated our culture for centuries. This recurring theme, found in diverse cultures and eras, is a testament to its enduring appeal and its ability to provoke thought and discussion about the nature of desire, ambition, morality, and the human condition. Fast forward to the modern era, and the concept of selling one's soul has taken on new interpretations. In the 21st century, the idea of trading one's soul for worldly gains, particularly fame and fortune, has evolved beyond its religious or metaphysical roots. It has seeped into our everyday language, our pop culture, and even our business transactions. In the realm of pop culture, this concept is perhaps most prevalent in the music industry. Artists often use the metaphor to express their struggles with creative integrity and commercial success. Lyrics may suggest an uneasy trade-off between maintaining one's artistic purity and satisfying the demands of a profit-driven industry. The narrative of an artist selling their soul to achieve stardom has become an almost cliched trope, yet it captures a genuine tension experienced by many in the creative fields. Beyond the music industry, the metaphor extends to other fields of entertainment. Celebrities in general are often accused of selling their souls for fame. This accusation usually arises when a public figure seems to compromise their personal values or authenticity in pursuit of popularity or wealth. It's a critique of the price one might pay for fame, suggesting that the cost could be one's individuality, integrity, or moral grounding. In the business world, the phrase "selling your soul" has taken on a more literal meaning. It's used to describe situations where individuals or companies compromise their principles for financial gain. This could involve unethical business practices, exploitative labor conditions, or environmental negligence. It's a commentary on the sometimes ruthless nature of capitalism, where the pursuit of profit can overshadow ethical considerations. The concept of selling one's soul, in its modern interpretations, serves as a powerful metaphor for the moral and ethical compromises one might make in the pursuit of success. It reflects societal concerns about the potential dehumanizing effects of fame, wealth, and power. Yet it's important to remember that these are metaphorical transactions. They are symbolic expressions of a perceived trade-off between personal integrity and worldly gains. They are not literal sales of an immaterial soul, but rather, they signify a sense of personal loss or sacrifice that can accompany success. While the interpretations may have changed, the underlying question remains: can one truly sell their soul? It's a question that invites us to reflect on our values, our ambitions, and the choices we make in pursuit of our goals. It challenges us to consider what we're willing to compromise and what we hold inviolable. It's a question that ultimately only we can answer for ourselves. And as we navigate through the complexities of this modern world, it's a question worth pondering. Because in the end, understanding the concept of selling one's soul might just help us better understand ourselves. Now that we've seen the evolution of this concept, it's time to critically analyze it. At this juncture, it becomes vital to question the premise. Is selling one's soul an actual possibility, or is it merely a metaphorical concept? The answer, like many things in life, is subjective and hinges on personal beliefs and interpretations. From a metaphorical standpoint, selling one's soul can be understood as surrendering one's moral or ethical principles in exchange for personal gain, be it fame, fortune, or power. It's an expression that succinctly captures the essence of moral compromise. It is the act of abandoning what one knows to be right, in pursuit of something ephemeral, something that, in the grand scheme of things, may hold little to no real value. But what about the literal interpretation? The belief that one can physically trade their soul, an intangible entity, for worldly success is a concept that harkens back to ancient times and is deeply rooted in folklore and mythology. It's an idea that's been perpetuated by stories and legends, and over time has been cemented into the collective consciousness of society. Now let's delve into the ethical implications. Irrespective of whether you perceive the concept of selling one's soul as metaphorical or literal, it presents a fascinating ethical and philosophical dilemma. On one hand, if you regard the soul as a tangible entity that can be bartered, it raises questions about the sanctity of life and the essence of humanity. If a soul can be traded, does that not reduce the value of human life to mere commodity? And if so, where does that leave us in the grand scheme of existence? On the other hand, if you view the concept metaphorically, it still poses a moral quandary. Is it justifiable to compromise one's principles, to abandon one's moral compass, for material gain? Is the temporary allure of fame and fortune worth the permanent loss of integrity and self-respect? And then comes the concept of free will. Free will is the ability to make choices that are genuinely one's own, unconstrained by external factors. If one chooses to sell their soul, is it a demonstration of free will or a surrender of it? Because if you're trading your soul, aren't you essentially giving up your ability to make independent choices, thus renouncing your free will? However, it's also crucial to note that the concept of free will itself is a subject of intense debate among philosophers, psychologists, and neuroscientists. Some argue that our decisions are the result of unconscious processes, while others maintain that we have the freedom to make choices independent of these processes. So, what does all this mean? It means that the notion of selling one's soul, whether literal or metaphorical, is not just a simple transaction. It's a complex interplay of ethics, philosophy, and psychology. It's a reflection of our values, our beliefs, and our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Whether we choose to accept or reject this concept, it's essential to approach it with a critical mind, to question, to ponder, and to engage in thoughtful discourse. Because it's through questioning that we evolve, that we grow, and that we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Whether literal or metaphorical, the concept of selling one's soul presents a fascinating ethical and philosophical dilemma. We've journeyed through history and culture, pondered over interpretations, and critically analyzed the concept of selling one's soul. It's a trip that has taken us from ancient myths and legends to the glitzy world of modern celebrity. It's a journey that has asked us to question our values, examine our aspirations, and think deeply about the price we're willing to pay for success and recognition. Let's take a moment to revisit the key insights from our exploration. We started by understanding the origins of this metaphor, tracing it back to ancient times, where the concept was steeped in religious and spiritual beliefs. We then fast-forwarded to the present day, observing how this notion has been adopted and adapted by celebrities and the wealthy, often serving as a provocative claim to stir intrigue and speculation. Throughout this journey, we have emphasized the importance of critical thinking and discernment. When faced with complex and often sensationalized concepts like selling one's soul, it's crucial to not take things at face value. Instead, we must delve deeper, question the motives, and analyze the context. Is it a literal transaction or a metaphorical expression? Is it a sensational claim for attention or a reflection of personal struggle and sacrifice? Discernment in this context becomes our most trusted ally. It helps us see beyond the surface, understand the nuances, and make informed judgments. And this is not just applicable to the concept of selling one's soul. It's a tool that we should employ in all areas of our lives, encouraging us to question, analyze, and think critically about the world around us. So as we conclude this exploration, let's carry forward this spirit of inquiry and discernment. Let's continue to question, to analyze, and to think critically. And if you enjoyed this journey of exploration, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Until next time, keep asking questions and seeking answers. Before we wrap up, we'd like to share some resources for further exploration on this topic. There's a world of knowledge out there that extends far beyond the scope of this 15-minute video. If you're intrigued by the concept of selling one's soul, there are countless books, articles, and documentaries that delve deeper into this enigma. Consider exploring the writings of philosophers and scholars who've pondered over the concept of the soul and its value, such as Socrates, Plato, or more contemporary thinkers like Carl Jung. You could also delve into literature and film that play with this theme, like Goethe's Faust, or the movie Bedazzled. Online platforms like JSTOR and Google Scholar offer a plethora of academic articles and papers on this subject. Podcasts and TED Talks are also a great way to continue your exploration. Remember, these are only suggestions. The key here is to pursue what piques your interest and resonates with you. As you navigate through these resources, we encourage you to not just consume information, but to question it, analyze it, and form your own understanding. Engage with these works critically, and remember that discernment is your greatest tool in the pursuit of knowledge. We also invite you to continue this conversation right here, in the comments section. Share your thoughts, your queries, your insights. Let's turn this into a space of collective learning and growth. Your perspective might just be the catalyst for someone else's enlightenment. Finally, if you found value in this video, do consider subscribing to our channel. We're constantly diving into intriguing topics, and would love for you to join us on these intellectual quests. Remember to like this video if it resonated with you, and do share it with others who might find it interesting. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay curious, stay critical, and remember, knowledge is power. Until next time.